Hello and welcome to Sophia Wisdom. My name is Maria Benning and I am a conduit or vehicle for channeling, and my creative partner in this endeavor is Divine Sophia, the Mother of Humanity. She also calls herself the creative partner to God the Father. And in this show, which we've been doing for several weeks now, each week I address a different topic of interest, and I often get those ideas from you, the listeners and the readers of my website. If there's something that you'd like to hear discussed, some information that you'd like to have channeled with me through Sophia, then please let me hear from you. My website is reconnectandheal.com, and I would love to hear from you. So the topic that we're going to be discussing today, that I'm going to ask Sophia to discuss, is about whether or not we have a choice in life and death, when we come into this world and when we leave it. And along those lines, do we have any rights to decide when someone else should be put to death, for example, through capital punishment? Is that within our moral, divine, spiritual rights to do this? And again, this is a question that came through from one of my listeners. So what I'm going to do is, as always, I'm just going to raise my hands and focus for a moment on the energy that I feel there. And then right away, this energy begins to move through me in this way. And Sophia is here with me always. And so I'm just going to ask the question. Sophia, thank you for being here in this partnership with me. And if you could help to illuminate some of the questions around life and death, those being choices of ours. Do I choose when to come into this life? Do I choose when to die? Maybe can I choose these things? And along those lines, if we decide as a society that we believe and will utilize capital punishment, what does it mean for us to decide somebody else's fate, to decide that they should die at a particular time? Is this in fact all right that we do this? I myself have had differing opinions over the years about capital punishment, and I would love to hear from you about this. Greetings, children, and welcome to another show. Maria and I and the others here in the entourage are happy to connect with you again in this way. These are profound questions that are being asked, and the answers may not appear so simple. You see, things are not always black and white. And even though the human mind wishes to quantify and define things so that they can be placed into a bit of a box, this isn't always the case, as you know. Otherwise, there would not be so much controversy around this particular issue. Let us first speak about capital punishment before we talk about whether or not you, as individual souls, can decide or do decide when to enter into life and when to leave it, your incarnation as a human being. They are related, these questions. Capital punishment, which is utilized when your societies decide what is a crime that is worthy of such a sentence. It is a precarious position to take, for, as you know, through your media, through a number of books that have been written, through the television shows, it is quite often the case that mistaken identity creates a situation where somebody innocent is put to death. Unfortunately, there are so many imperfections within your justice system that these types of horrendous errors occur. And it is a mistake from which there is no return. You cannot undo the death of a human being. There must be within you, those of you who are working in the criminal justice system, there must be within you the highest level of integrity when trying to determine what is an appropriate sentence, whether that is for something that would involve capital punishment or whether it is any other type of sentence. Consciousness is paramount, for what you are doing is determining the fate of individuals, where their lives will go in the next period of time, whether in fact they will even continue to have a life. Now, some would suggest that life imprisonment is a far more horrific sentence than capital punishment. And I would wager to assume that there are those who have been through your system who would say that it is so, that were it up to them, they would have chosen to leave through capital punishment. I have no simple answers here for you. I cannot say from case to case what is appropriate. It is up to you, for you created this system. It is up to you, human beings, to decide these very challenging questions on a case-by-case level. But our caution would be that this be used, that capital punishment be used only in very extremely rare circumstances, and only when there is absolute surety that the person we are speaking about did in fact commit crimes of such a horrific nature that there is a karmic release that will occur by carrying out such a sentence. Now, what warrants something like putting someone to death, deciding the fate of an individual such as that? Where do you draw the line? Certainly, it would seem that crimes of genocide would warrant such a sentence. But there are many questions left unanswered through the death of the individual, for such things do not occur simply through the power and the will of one individual. Myriad circumstances must come together in order for something so horrific to take place. There are too many individuals involved, and yet you are correct when you think that someone is responsible. Somebody must be held accountable. So, while there are in the United States many circumstances wherein many years after the fact the DNA evidence has shown that in fact someone who was deemed to be guilty is in fact not, and after the fact, after they have been put to death, even this has been the case, or after they have spent 30, 35, 40 years in prison, this has been discovered through the science.